Hey, I'm Dirty Dan and welcome back to Greasy Boy Customs. Today we're going to continue on with our 1963 FORD Ranchero floor pan project. Now, we did have a little issue. I lost some of my footage because my laptop decided to have a nuclear meltdown and was unable to retrieve everything. Also, if you're filming during Thanksgiving or Christmas holidays, you tend to forget things because you're all messed up on food and lose track of time. But we still got great footage, and we've got as much step-by-step as we can to show you how I put these floors in. Again, as a disclaimer, this is the way that I am doing it, not the only way, not the best way, not the way that you have to do it. This is the way that I do it. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start cutting the floors out. As you saw in a previous video, these floors are absolutely trashed, including the floor and the bed. We're going to start in the cab and get the structure tightened up and secured and go ahead and get the rest of these old rusty floors out of the way so we can start fixing them up. Let's go ahead and do some cutting. Well, as you can see, we got most of the metal out of here. Some of it's still good, but we're going to have to get all this old junk out of here, get this all cleaned up, and we're going to run some bracing from here back, and we're going to run some cross braces across the car and make a whole new floor pan out of sheet metal, more sturdy than before and a little bit more simple. Now that we have most of the floor cut out of the way on this car, we can go ahead and start prepping for our frame structure that we're going to put in, which is mostly going to be 1x2. This is not the only way to do it. This is just the way that I like to do this. Now you have these right here, these pockets for the frame. Well, guess what? 1x2 fits in there beautifully. Widthways, looks perfect. So we're actually going to cut these off and we're going to run bars to the back, and then we'll have a support bar running across as well to get us a basic structure. Let's go ahead and start with that. We're chugging right along, making good progress on the floors. As you can see though, got a little dark outside, but that's because the shop is full. As you can see, we got a full house in there, waiting on parts on that guy and that guy. So outside we go, hanging out with my Roadster. We got a couple runners in front to back, got one run across the back. We got some support braces going to the interrocker on the side. We're gonna put one more here, and then we're gonna do another one long ways here on each side. So we've got our floor braces, the main important ones, in place, and we can go ahead and do the main sheet metal section of the floor pan. I'm doing a left and right pan, and it's going to be the bulk of the floor, and then we're gonna do smaller additional pieces. So I've cut them out, 23" by 53", and I'm going to take a closer look over here and show you what we're doing with that. So what we did is we took this panel, fitted it in there, flipped it over, and I took a permanent marker and drew out where the floor braces are, because now we're going to lay out our bead rolls. We need to make sure that when we're laying out the bead rolls that we are not going to lay them over a bar where they're not needed or where we need to weld. These bead rolls are going to be structural, not necessarily for aesthetics. It's 18 gauge sheet metal. We'll do a couple here, do a couple in that section, and maybe two little ones up there, and that's it. This is such a small area, it's not going to be needed, as well as here too. We'll go ahead and get these rolled out and matched up on both sides and tacked in place. All right, we are making some really great progress on the floor. We've got the bulk of the floor pans in, and we've got our transmission tunnel in. We're working on the back wall now. Let's dive in and take a little bit closer look at what we're doing back there. Like I said, we have the main part of the floor in, and we've started working on our tunnel to the toe board up there. And we've got our back pieces in here, and now we're working on the back wall. So let's go over and take a look at the old back wall and show you what we're doing with the template for the new one. As you can see, it's pretty obvious this back wall was absolutely roached out. So we've measured it out and we've marked off where all of our divots need to be, and we're going to try to duplicate that as best as we can with the step die on the bead roller. We'll go ahead and get this cut out, roll it out, test fit it up. We got the back wall welded in, and it looks great. It lines up really nice. Look, we got the ribs and all that stuff, but kind of got a little messed up on turkey the other day and forgot to film the rest of the work I did. So ta-da, the floors are done. Let's take a look at it and I'll show you what we got. We ended up getting that part of the tunnel done, and we also got the section over there, the toe board, done. Again, the back wall's welded in, and you're looking at all this goopy stuff here. That is seam sealer. It is not necessary, but I do it on all the floors that I do, especially when they're going to be covered by carpet. Well, that's going to wrap it up on this job. We've got the floors welded in. We've got everything seam sealed and painted. We're going to let the seam sealer cure for a couple days just to be sure it's 100% cured, and then spray it over with some more flat black so it blends in a little bit better. We do have one patch left to do in the trunk, but it's just a small flat patch and it's not a big deal, so we're not going to bother wasting time filming that. Now again, this is not a normal floor pan job. This is the way that I did it in this car. My customer was not looking for a factory restoration. He was just looking for somebody who was willing to take on repairing this and turning it back into a functional vehicle, which we have done. The floor will accept a factory bench seat. I made the tunnel low enough to make sure that will work, but also if he puts in custom bucket seats with that nice smooth round uniform tunnel, he can put a pretty killer looking console on there if he wants to as well. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions about the work I've done or in other videos, email me at greasyboycustoms@gmail.com or contact me through our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time. Happy hot rod.